Hello, this is Dana Arcuri, author, speaker, survivor, advocate, and certified trauma recovery coach from danaarcuri.com. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any new content. If you are returning to my YouTube channel, thank you so much for joining me today for a new message. And so today's message is titled, Toxic People Can't Stop You from Being Fruitful and Flourishing. And so sometimes I have this inner knowing. I have sometimes this, I call it a inspirational, very spiritual hit where I get this amazing message. Some people can say it's from God, source, the universe, or a higher power. Whatever you believe in, that's totally fine. But today's message is to encourage you, motivate you, and inspire you. And so this is based on a true story. Yesterday I had something really exciting and very unexpected that happened. And before I can even begin to share that exciting, amazing visual that I had, that was like a confirmation of how far I've come. I really believe that first I need to give the backstory. And second thing I need to state is I don't think this message, this divine word from source, from a higher power, I don't believe it was just for me. No, I believe it's for you too on a collective level. And so first I'll give the story of what this is all about, and then I'll catch you up to speed on what happened yesterday. All right, so 6 years ago, I moved into the home where I live today. And what I noticed right away when I was looking at this home was, and obviously then we're living in this home, that there was this beautiful, ginormous raspberry bush in my backyard. And I was like, oh, wow, that's super cool. I love raspberries. They're antioxidants. They're anti-inflammatory. They're super, super wonderful for our health. There's so many health benefits for it. And I'm like, yay, this is really great, to have this huge raspberry bush in my backyard. And it really brought like fond memories of when I was a little child and my dad would take me blueberry picking or strawberry picking. And we were really into fresh fruit. And so nevertheless, it did bring some fond memories. And so to my surprise, after I had been living here for a couple months, I caught a stranger in my backyard, and she had this bucket where she was picking my raspberries. No joke. She was just kind of helping herself to my raspberries. And I was kind of caught off guard, like, wow, who is this stranger? Like, why would someone cross into my property and just help themselves to my raspberry bush? Why would someone do that? That's so disrespectful. It's basically crossing my boundaries. Hey, you're crossing my property line. You are a stranger. I don't even know you. And so I pick up the phone and I made a little call to someone who owns the property where I live. And I told them what was going on. And it turns out that it was a neighbor who lived about 4 doors down from me. And I said, the point isn't that I don't want someone to eat my raspberries. The point is that this person doesn't know me. They never asked me for permission to help themselves and pick my raspberries. It's really impolite. Really, it comes down to, bad manners. And I said, technically, no, I really don't mind if someone helps himself to my raspberry. Hey, there's plenty to go around. But the point is that they really should have asked me for permission. And so, long story short, this message got back to the neighbor on that day. And she became really furious that I notified someone about her stepping into my property and picking my raspberries. And so she came marching up to my home and pounding on my door. She was ticked off. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you turn me in? And I said, the point is that you are a stranger. I don't know you. You don't know me. We never even met. I'm new to this neighborhood, but I find it very disrespectful that you went onto my property and you helped yourself to my raspberry bushes, and you never even thought how impolite and what poor manners this is. And you stepped over my boundaries. And I said, hey, if you want these raspberries, I'm totally fine with it, but please next time ask me for permission. I mean, it's called good manners. And I'll be happy to allow you to help yourself to these delicious raspberries. And so that was the end of this. I did see this woman occasionally go into my backyard and help herself to my raspberries. After that, I thought, you know what? Despite how immature she is and disrespectful, I'm not going to pursue this because there's so much better things to do in life. There's so many more important places to put my time and my energy and so forth. And I just kind of let it go at that point. I was just like, you know what? We can't change people. And so I kind of let it go. And to my surprise, last year, out of nowhere, unexpectedly, I noticed that someone chopped down my raspberry bushes. Wow, really? You had to like try to seek revenge on me and chop down my raspberry bushes? I suspect it was this person. And while I may not have evidence that she went into my backyard and chopped down my entire, I mean, she went to the root and chopped the raspberry bushes down. And I thought, you know what? Life is too short. Once again, no, I'm not putting toxic energy into any of this. There's no negative energy going into this. I refuse to let someone bring me down. And I have to focus on what counts and what matters. And my life purpose matters. And like last year when this took place, I was in the midst of finishing certified trauma recovery coaching school. I was busy. I had a lot of homework. I had a lot of responsibilities that I needed to fulfill to become certified. And that was where my energy needed to go. That was where I wanted to put my time and really focus on whatever was going good in my life. Okay, so let's fast forward to yesterday. Yesterday morning, I get up, I'm drinking my coffee in my kitchen, and I just kind of glimpse out my kitchen window, and lo and behold, again, to my surprise, I saw something that was a little bit shocking. It turns out that despite this person who chopped down my raspberry bushes, the raspberry bushes grew back. And it's kind of ironic because the day before that, I didn't see the raspberry bushes. And there I am yesterday, and I'm like, wow, I'm in awe. Like, this is supernatural. This is so beautiful. And just like that, I was getting spiritual hit, divine messages. Again, whether you call it God, source, the universe, a higher power. I was getting these amazing intuitive hits. And so I really sensed God blessed me with a message. I consider it a divine prophetic message. And that's what I want to share today. So what does this mean? So think about this. I have this raspberry bush. A neighbor comes into my yard. She starts picking my raspberries without permission. Then she becomes hostile when I notified someone about it. And then she kept picking them, regardless that I said she crossed my boundaries and it was poor manners. Then out of nowhere last year, the raspberry bush was literally chopped down. And then lo and behold, this year, the raspberry bush flourished. It has all of these raspberries on it. It is in the early stages of growth and development, but it was so exciting. And so the message that I immediately received was from John 15:5. And I sensed God just breathing this beautiful verse into my soul and my heart. And so John 15:5 says, I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. And so I sensed that I was being given this divine word that despite someone disrespecting you, despite there being people who are disrespectful, cruel, malicious, hateful, vengeful, and who may have actually sinister motives, despite someone trying to hurt you and harm you, I sense God say, I will bear fruit in you, because my dear daughter, you have been faithful. You have not given up hope, and you are living out your purpose, and you have beautiful gifts and spiritual talents, and I am blessing you, and you will flourish. You will be fruitful, and I will bless you, my dear daughter. And so it really excited me to see that even though this raspberry bush was chopped down, it still grew. And even though someone trying to hurt me and someone trying to lash out at me, it proved that when we have sinister, evil, negative motives, we will not be fruitful. We will not flourish. We will not be positive. It's actually more that when someone's negative and toxic and they have cruel, mean-spirited motives, they will reap a very dry harvest. What does that mean? They won't have a harvest. They won't be fruitful. They won't have their dreams come true. They won't receive the blessings and the miracles, and they will not blossom because they are putting forth such toxic negativity that it is going to be like a boomerang and return to them. And yet, those of us who are faithful, who continue to live out our life purpose, who use everything we've learned from way back then, all of the times we were kicked down, all of the times that people criticized us, all of the times we were mistreated, we were abused, we were traumatized, and we were just attacked in the most vicious, violent manner, we will still rise up. We will still bloom and flourish, and we will receive blessing after blessing after blessing with abundance, because that is how the universe works. That is the nature of a higher power. You know, I think a higher power does try to balance out when there's an imbalance going on, meaning there's a lot of negativity over here. Someone's seeking to harm you. They have the sinister intent to hurt you. And over here, the higher power is like, oh no, they don't. Oh no, they don't. I am going to pour out the blessings on you. I am going to take those seeds that you planted and I am going to let it bloom and flourish. And so one quote I wanted to share is by someone named Donald Lanone. And he says, "Your highest calling in life is to thrive and flourish and not just survive. During this incredibly challenging time, we must do our best to thrive." And I think that, you know, the overall message, the overall intuitive hit, the spiritual download I had yesterday was confirmation that even when people try to kill, steal, and destroy you, your testimony, and your life purpose, your God-ordained purpose in life, nobody can stop God's blessings upon you. And so that brings me to Isaiah 14:27. And the word says, "All the forces of darkness cannot stop what God has ordained." And that is extremely exciting. It is a promise, and God is faithful. The universe is faithful. A higher power is faithful. And we will be blessed. We will receive amazing, supernatural experiences in life when we keep on keeping on, even when the going gets rough, even when things are really tough, and we keep our eyes on the focus. The focus is, I'm going to take back my power. I'm going to speak the truth. I'm going to live out my divine purpose. I'm going to use everything from the past that may have tried to hurt me and kill me and destroy me and steal all glory and all positivity, and I'm going to take it over here and I'm going to transform it into something that's beautiful, something that is encouraging and inspiring, and that's going to touch other lives in such a positive way. And I'm going to share a little bit about what does the word fruitful mean. So according to dictionary.com, producing good results, beneficial, profitable, and producing abundant growth. So that's what fruitful is all about. Let's also bring up other things that are exciting and positive about what is fruitful. What does flourishing and fruitful mean? It means being productive, profitable, successful, beneficial, advantageous, rewarding, thriving, expanding, growing, prosperous, and blooming. It is just the most beautiful thing on earth when we may have been hit and rock bottom. At one time we may have been struggling really bad, but despite our struggles and trials and adversity and any opposition, especially with the critics and the naysayers, that we still rise up, that we still go from barely surviving to fully thriving and flourishing and being fruitful and leading the most amazing, powerful life where we really do touch others. We give them hope. We can help them be healed. We could help encourage them. We could lift their spirits. And so I'm going to end on this note. It is an inspiring quote by Del Ola, who says, "We have a purpose in this world, something that without us would remain undone, just as a plant needs sunlight to flourish. Our world needs us to flourish." So today, share with me, has anyone ever crossed your property? Has anyone, started picking from your garden, taking your fruit or your vegetables or your plants? Has anyone done anything to you where maybe they tried to spew their hate and revenge onto you, and yet you were still blessed? You still received amazing abundance and joy and peace and miracles, and you still were flourishing. Share with me what this video message, this divine word, how it may validate what you've been through. Share with me what your thoughts are on having the ability to still rise up and to go from barely surviving to fully thriving and flourishing. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and if you'd like to work with me as a certified trauma recovery coach or receive some very inspiring motivational information on my blog, I have a lot of blog posts that are encouraging and educational. You could visit me at danaarcuri.com. Thank you and have a blessed day.